So Doug, are you saying that the U.S. troops in South Korea really serve no purpose?
Well, the troops in South Korea help the South Koreans. I mean, obviously it's nice, for another country to have Uncle Sam, the great superpower, show up and take care of your defense. They don't serve an American interest. I mean, the point is, South Korea is well able to pay for its own defense. It has about 40 times the GDP of the North. They're getting a very cheap ride because of American troops. It cost Americans to raise those troops, put them there. And there's also a risk. I mean, if war would erupt in the Korean Peninsula, we'd be right in the middle of it, even though there's no cause for us to be there. Those troops went in during the Cold War. The world's very different today, so the interest they're serving is not America's interest.
Let me ask a little broader question. China has been showing a little bit more, I guess we would say, military aggressiveness, or at least they're developing more weapons, seeking to have apparently a wider interest, at least in the Asia-Pacific area. Is this a problem for the United States? Are we going to have to face them down sometime soon?
Well, we have to look at China and recognize this is a country that's come very far from almost nothing. I mean, it was a wreck under Mao Zedong. It was a hideous, in terms of human rights violations. It was, in a very poor country. So it's moving forward. No surprise, Chinese are very proud of that and want a bigger role in East Asia. We have to recognize that that's a reality. Any country, including the United States, as they grow, wants a bigger role. We don't have to worry about China trying to attack the United States. The U.S. spends something like 5 times as much on the military as the Chinese do. China doesn't have a single aircraft carrier. The U.S. has 11 carrier groups. What China wants, I think, is to be protected in its own region. The U.S. dominates China even along its own border. What we have to recognize is, what would we think if there was a country across the Pacific that had bases in Canada and bases in Mexico and carrier groups along the Pacific? We wouldn't like that very much. What China is doing is building up a deterrent capability. China knows it's not going to be able to match us in terms of number of carriers. What it's working on is the ability to sink American carriers. They want to be in a position where the United States is not likely to use military force against them. We have to be prepared to accommodate that. We've had about 20, 30 years of a unique moment where we felt we could do anything we wanted around the world. That was a very rare moment for most of human history. No country has that kind of power. We're losing that power today. It doesn't mean America's in danger. What it means is the U.S. should rely far more on its allies. Japan should do more, South Korea should do more, Australia should do more. They're the countries that have to worry most about China because they have the most at interest. They're right there. So I think it makes sense for the U.S. to draw back from confrontation, but work with allied and democratic countries and encourage them to do a lot more in their own neighborhood. So yeah, we should watch what China's doing, but we shouldn't treat them as an enemy. A cooperative relationship between China and the United States will make the 21st century a far better place than a confrontational relationship. U.S. and China both have a responsibility there to work through disagreements and try to ensure a peaceful cooperation than finding themselves at dangerous loggerheads.
Well, Doug, thank you for participating in the Register Video Information Project, and good luck on all your future endeavors.
Thank you very much. Happy to be on.